Hello everyone, it's me. What's up? I'm Grant, the movie and TV guy, back again. Earlier today I reviewed Tom and Jerry. Chris Stuckman just gave it an F. Whatever, dude. I didn't think it was that bad. I love Chris Stuckman. I subscribe to him. I like his stuff. He's usually we see eye to eye. And I liked the movie. I didn't compared to Yogi Bear. It wasn't that bad. Alright, we're not talking about Tom and Jerry though. We're talking about a movie that I've been looking forward to because, like most of the world, I'm a fan of this artist. That movie is Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry. This is streaming on Apple TV Plus. It's also playing in IMAX theaters. This movie, I watch it on Apple TV Plus. It's directed by this guy R.J. Cutler. He mostly does documentaries. The one other movie I saw of his was a feature. Speaking of Chloe Moretz from earlier, If I Stay, which I didn't love. It was fine, but I didn't love it. Which makes me want to see more of his docs because I'm gonna have to be kind of a fan here. This is where you have to kind of separate the fan from the artist, but luckily the movie did that fine. The fan from the critic. As a fan, I was always gonna love Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry, because I'm a fan of her music. I like the stuff, like her and her bond with Phineas. I think that her music is really great. As a critic, however, though, I was expecting, this kind of... I wasn't expecting anything hard-hitting. I was expecting to give it, like, a 4-star and say, like, well, this is a great kind of concert movie. But now as a critic, what the reality is that I love this film. This movie, the runtime is daunting. This movie is 2 hours and 22 minutes long. It needed to be. And even as an intermission, at the midpoint, which on Apple TV Plus, it's like intermission fades back in. I feel like if you saw this in IMAX theaters, there would actually be a full-blown intermission. But, it's still in the movie, but it's brief on Apple TV Plus. It's only about half a minute. The thing is, the movie's long. The movie is literally just under 2.5 hours. But what I wasn't expecting is this is not really a concert film. And it's not a PR puff thing. It's not like saying, they even mention this movie by name in the film. Billie Eilish's mother does. Like the Justin Bieber movie. This is a profile of an artist becoming an artist, and in a lot of ways a coming-of-age film. Like a real-life, documentary coming-of-age film. It's about... And one of the things it does so well, and what makes it such a moving film, and such a great film, in and of itself, beyond the artist it's profiling, is the fact how it profiles her. This is very unvarnished. It's also rated R, which I think is justified. It's very candid and unfiltered. And that's what broke my heart, because you hear Miss Eilish's music, and you see, she's a kid. She's a kid, but her songwriting is so beautiful, which is so weird. And it's dark, but it has this kind of emotional pull that anyone who ever has problems, basically anyone who's alive, can feel what she's feeling. But what makes this movie so good is that it doesn't just capture the authenticity of her music, it captures the authenticity of Billie Eilish, and also her family. I really like how they portrayed... And it feels like it's the way it is. Not only Phineas, but her mother and father. There's a very moving moment where her mother is speaking to the camera about how there are people who are even slightly older but are still young than Billie who, they don't have a parent. Making sure that they have a good head on their shoulders, and that's her goal. And you see these things I cried. I'm not gonna lie. There were a few moments where I genuinely was moved. There's a scene... One is early on where she's talking about a potentially controversial lyric. Let's just put it this way. It involves standing on a building. And after what Billie Eilish says very candidly to her mother, I felt it. It was just... It really moved me. Because it was really... You could tell that she almost... The cameras weren't even on. That's what made it feel so raw. It almost felt like you weren't supposed to be in the room. This movie, and I mean that in the best way to Mr. Cutler's filmmaking, is you just felt like it was so candid. There's another scene where, and what he also does in his filmmaking so well is kind of transition between the highs of, you see her on stage and she has this presence and this warmth toward her fans and this deep calling out to them and having a banter with them and talking about how much she loves them, and then the next second she gets back and maybe she makes a little mistake on stage, a very human mistake that anyone could forgive. You know, she flubs a lyric or something, and then she goes on stage and is on the brink of tears talking about how I sucked and just doubting herself and saying that I wasn't good, and everyone around her saying, no, you were amazing, and she's just like, I don't know, I was terrible, and you just feel her. It's so moving, and see, the thing is, what makes this also a really good documentary is you don't have to know, everybody knows who Billie Eilish is at this point, but you don't have to know anything about her or her music to be moved by this film. If you're just looking for a film that's an examination of a life, and a life that is huge like this, it's a really great film in that regard, and you just feel. And there's one point, the other point that really. This is the moment where I didn't just sniffle, I cried. There's a scene where she's in concert. Well, first, when she sings. When the party's over, because my inner high schooler comes out every time I hear that song, and it makes me cry anyway. But. One kind of constant in the film is the character of it. Well, not character, person. It's a documentary, Grant. Don't forget. It's a guy named Q who she's dating. I believe that's his name. And you see the slow kind of dissolution of their relationship, and that he might just. They never make him look villainous, but it's more just like he's not there for her the way she needs to be in a healthy way. And you see her going from this low point to getting on stage and singing a song, and then she literally with her brother, and they're like on a big like a bed that's levitating, and she can't keep it together, and I started sobbing. I couldn't help it. I felt because it was the mix of the lyrics, what she was going through that I saw, and then what she's going through in that moment. It just was very well done. This kid has amazing talent. She has really good parents just from this documentary who really have a good head and shoulders and ground her, and I also like that she's kind of a young businesswoman. She's taking it in. She's directing her own videos. She's making very, very conscious choices about what she wears on stage, and she's making it for herself. She's not letting other people and handlers exploit her. She's a very professional person, and I just thought it was really neat how Mr. Cutler kind of captures her. And on top of that, you know, she was going like Tourette syndrome. She has Tourette syndrome, and you see it. You see her in the middle of, you know, a press conference, just, you know, having a moment, and it's just. This to me wasn't like a Katy Perry or like the Justin Bieber movie. This was more along the lines of like last year with like Miss Americana with Taylor Swift. It wasn't about Billie Eilish, the performer, although that's a big part of it. It was about Billie Eilish, the person, in the same way that Miss Americana was about Taylor Swift, the person, in the same way that something like, you know, one of those great Beastie Boys story was about the Beastie Boys as people. That's what this movie's about, and that's why I think it should join the ranks of those great films about great artists. And I'm gonna pull the trigger, you guys. This is one of the best films of the year so far. It's even better than it's even better than it would have been on its own. Just as a fan of her music, I thought it was a really moving, just sort of time capsule of this, of, you know. And I also thought it was really clever how they, like I said, they have an intermission. The movie's kind of in two distinct halves. The first half is kind of her first song comes out when she's very young. It jumps ahead 3 years, and you see her putting together her album, and then you see it coming out and exploding. And then the second half is the impact the explosion has on her mental health. And that's, I think, the second half is where the first half is moving. The second half is where it's the rawness comes out. You need it to be as long as it is. And then there comes a point where this is the other point where I've really cried, because I think we all like, and she talks about this in the movie, how people are afraid to talk about not feeling okay. You know what I mean? And there's a stigma around loneliness and depression and stuff like that that needs to be talked about, needs to be broken, because everybody goes through. I've gone through it, especially in this pandemic. I've gone through it a lot, and I just think that it's important to say when you're not okay. And there's kind of a scene where she's talking about some very dark, where she basically sort of says something along the lines of, I didn't think I was going to live to be this age. This is potentially triggering, but she's talking about these things she wrote in her diary, and then they show them kind of visually of her saying, you know, like, I'm always going to be, it's like, I will always love, and it's like, I was always living in the cross of love, it's like, I'll always be broken, things like that, and it's, it broke my heart. It was really moving, and it was really well done. Yeah. Let's close the book on this guy. 5 stars out of 5. I really, and I'm not just saying that as a fan, I'm saying that as a critic too. I really was shocked by how good this was. It totally earned its epic length. It was a really terrific and very intimate, surprisingly intimate portrait of this amazing artist. And her brother too. You really get a better idea of who Phineas is too, than their kind of relationship. Some great kind of humor. And by the end of it, it does anything any kind of coming-of-age story should do, no matter if it's a documentary, if it's a fictional film, which is that you want the kid to be okay and the kid to be all right, as the Who sang, so badly. You just feel, and when it seems like they're on that path, you just are so happy. So you're like a parent. You're like a relative. You want them to be... You're watching from the sidelines like her mom and dad are, and you just feel it. You're proud. 5 stars for Billie Eilish, Otherworld's a little blurry. It's a great film. Go watch it. If you have Apple TV Plus, it's free to you. Go watch it. Categories. Trailer trash. There was none, kind of. There was a little, it's kind of like what it was with Judas and the Black Messiah. There's like a sizzle reel of like coming soon to Apple TV Plus. Otherwise, it's it. Was there shawarma? Yes. And actually pretty kind of, a little thing. There was a little bit of like home movie footage at the very end of the credits, the very, very, very end, like the last second. Stick around, it's worth it. Very cute, a nice little capper on the movie. So, yeah, 5 stars really honest. It's a little blurry. I will be back soon. I also found out, and this might be coming in the next few days, I'm gonna kind of focus my next energy on Punky Brewster. But I found out a movie's getting along as Minari is available to rent, and I might just watch it and review it for you guys, because I've been really hearing a lot of good things. I want to watch Minari. So we'll be talking that soon. I'm going to close the book for today on my channel for videos for today. Watch Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry, even if you've never heard of, you don't know who Billie Eilish is, which everybody does. But go watch it, it's worth it. So, take care of you guys. I love you all. It's okay not to be okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to be on a soapbox, but it's okay. You're loved. Everyone is loved. It's a good thing. It's okay. But I'll see you next time. I'll see you guys very soon, and until next time, I might do SNL tomorrow. So until next time, I'm Grant, the movie and TV guy. I see it all, and I'm happy to share it with you. Have a wonderful day, and thank you all.